Three Browns defenders with the most money to gain from Jim Schwartz hire as the defensive coordinator. They go with Grant Delpit, Jordan Elliott, Jacob Phillips. With 1 year to prove they are worth a second contract, big or small, Delpit, Elliott, Phillips had the most to gain from the change from Woods to Schwartz. If two of the three earn bigger contracts than currently expected, defense will likely be at a whole new level in 2023. And there will be, I shouldn't say that as definitively, you would expect there are a couple of guys that are currently here who elevate their play because Jim Schwartz is going to ask them to do some different things that they weren't being asked to do.
Well, I think right off the bat, Grant Delpit, but I think this might also be more the case of Grant Delpit himself. Last year, the 2021 season, obviously coming back from the Achilles, finally getting into the NFL, getting used to play speed while you're not 100%, but you saw a very, very vastly improved player this year. Led the team in tackles, 3 interceptions. You saw some big, big plays from Grant Delpit. As far as other guys, Jordan Elliott, look, it's going to be tough. Look, I mean, other than Perrion Winfrey, I don't know if there's a defensive tackle on his roster right now that I would consider safe. And the only reason I'm going to say it about Perrion is because he's only going into his second year, and he's going to be going into a defensive system that probably is going to appreciate a player his size and his skill set a little bit more. Jacob Phillips is a player I've always enjoyed, but it's kind of been the same thing every year for Jacob Phillips. A lot of missed time. And it certainly didn't help Jacob Phillips that, when he was, playing a lot of playing time, this team didn't have answers for the run. The Atlanta Falcons game, he was one of the linebackers out there. As the season went on, you got better play against the run, but that was from, veterans, Reggie Ragland. And of course, linebacker was brought over from the Atlanta Falcons as well. It's a really tough spot. That linebacker room, you think JOK in year 3 is probably going to put it all together here if you're able to put the right defensive tackles in front of him to keep him clean so he can basically just sit back and attack. Linebacker-wise, though, it's going to be really, really difficult because I think the Browns with Jim Schwartz are going to want somebody like Anthony Walker here, somebody who is basically a veteran, is a signal caller, is vocal, and is really, really good in the coverage aspect of his job. The linebacker room right now is a really, really tough one to figure out for the Cleveland Browns because there's a lot of names. You've got a lot of free agents. Obviously, Walker's a free agent. Ragland's a free agent. Sione Takitaki is a free agent. It's a really, really difficult room to look at. And when you sit down with Jim Schwartz might just say, hey, look, I'm not sure if any one of these guys, even at their top level, is something I can work with here. So there's going to be a lot of changes coming to that linebacker room. And even though they went really deep last year because they had to with playing almost 8-9 linebackers throughout the course of the season, there's a good chance we might only see JOK and maybe the guys who still have a contract left, which would maybe be Jacob Phillips, JOK, and I'm not sure about anybody else.